Look at that one. You gotta love a praying mantis. Good predators, really important for the garden. And I don't know, there's something about their movement. It's both mesmerizing and alarming in equal measure. It seems like genuine alien intelligence. That might be just because of my days with Space Ghost Coast to Coast and his keyboard player, but so good. Oh my goodness, that's good. Let's call this proof of concept. little frog on one of our standing basins. This is a green tree frog, and it looks like he's considering having a sip. It's really quite an important spot because I see that many wasps come and go for a sip here as well. The more I look at him, the more I think that maybe he's here hunting. Nice to see him chill in the shade anyway.